Okay, quick recap of today's practice. This is going to be sprint number 1 here, just showing you guys your form, something to work on. Felicia, too slow of a cadence there. You got to really snap and explode on the first off the bat. Elisa, you just got to work on your sequencing there and a little bit of, I think, a little bit of upper body stability to use your leverage. And good job, Morgan. You're up there throwing it pretty hard. So. Yep, that was sprint number 1. All right, here on sprint number 2, we're not going to see it. I was just trying to give Morgan a little bit of a run here. She sprints a lot and she's at the track a lot. That's kind of her forte. So I wanted to just give her a little bit of run here. She got a really nice jump. You can see our cadence is pretty good here. I'm up in the 120s. I'm sure she's about the same, probably, maybe even a little faster. But yeah, that was a good sprint. We want to try to carry it probably a little bit longer, but I think since we didn't have good landmarks, we just cut it short right there. But that was a good jump, good sprint. I was up to about 12, 17, I think, watts, something like that. All right, so here's the first of the lead out drills. This one is a complete loss, to be honest with you guys. It's pretty raggedy. We just started early, didn't really pick out the landmarks, or didn't stick to the landmarks that I picked out. A little bit of confusion there. I will say on the downhills, you guys got to get set up, got to be in your drops here, especially knowing that we're doing a lead out drill next to people. You got 8 people fairly close to each other. You want to be in your drops, especially on high speed descents, be in your drops. You want as much stability as possible, while you're riding at really high speeds, especially if you're going to be close to people. So yeah, all this was supposed to be neutral, but we see on Ellen's group, the faster group, they were already like going in the lead out. I'm kind of yelling here like, hey, we're not even supposed to start yet. But we weren't supposed to start until after we roll over this little roller right here. But they had already started, they're already gone. You see Jesse had already been used before we even got to the lead out. So this one's just pretty much a loss. Unfortunately, too, I had a little bit of a heart issue today. Wasn't able to actually go. My heart rate just wasn't. It's not just my heart rate, but just my heart wasn't really cooperating. So yeah, I just kind of cruise here after I lose the wheel from the A group. I just kind of cruise here, but you'll see my heart's gonna like completely drop in a second down to like 130 beats. So I knew I was feeling a little bit weird, but I wasn't paying attention to my heart rate, so I didn't know what was going on. But anyway, good job here of you guys pushing on. If I'm not mistaken, Morgan may have held after she did the lead out. She may have held up the hill, and that's just very difficult. Uphill sprint finishes, especially after a long lead out. Like, you just never know what you're going to have left for that uphill, and I think it gets to about 8%. So yeah, but if you can see here, my heart rate's just dropping like crazy, and it shouldn't drop that fast. I'm not in that good of shape for it to drop down. But anyway, that's the first lead out here. Like I said, that one's a wash. We're just going to throw that one away. Just still wanted you guys to see what you did. The next lead out is actually pretty good, in my opinion. I think we kind of overestimated some things in the next lead out, and maybe we thought we were going slower than we were. But I think now that I've seen the video and I can put it in perspective a little bit, like that, this flat right here is not actually flat. Like, we're going downhill for a second, but once we pass and we start the actual lead out, this is a false flat. It goes 1 to 3%. And you'll see like how many watts I'm doing in the draft here. I'm a little bit off the wheel just because it's our first time doing this with everybody. So I was giving everybody a little bit of room. But just look at how many watts I'm doing in the draft. And I'm basically the 6th rider here, out of a 5-team lead out. I'm basically the sweeper here. And I'm going to still be doing like 3, sometimes 400 watts back here in the draft. So if you look, the percentage is going to keep going up between 1 and 3%. This road isn't flat. It's a false flat. So I think it's a little deceptive, and it makes you think you're going slower than you are. But when you're going 25 to 29 miles per hour and you can see the watts that I'm doing, It's not actually a pretty good effort. The speed is actually pretty good here because you got to think if somebody tried to attack right now from this far out, they wouldn't make it. They'd have to hold such high watts for so long. Like our sprint train is actually doing its job. The speed is actually fast enough. So just be careful of how like urgent we're saying, telling people to increase their speed because we can burn out our train that way. And we kind of did. We wanted to get this sprint a little bit further up the road, but I think we just didn't really know that how uphill this was, and it's basically a false flat. It was not a flat road, so it goes from 1 to 3%. And again, I think that lead out was not as bad as we thought it was, and the speed wasn't as low as we thought it was when you put in perspective what somebody would have to do to run by us. So anyway, just wanted you guys to get a chance to see this real quick. Like I said, as we work, we will get better at it. We won't have to do it in practices all the time. We could do it on some team rides where we'll actually be riding the whole time. So thank you.